Before you even think about Form 1023, you start with the organizing document. That's the legal birth certificate, articles of incorporation, a trust instrument, or an unincorporated association document. On the EA exam, they love this sequence. Organize first, then get an EIN, then apply if required. If you skip the organizing step, you can't paper over it later with a good application. Your organizing document has two must-have ideas. First, a proper purpose clause. It limits activities to 501(c), 3 purposes, like charitable, educational, or religious. Second, a dissolution clause. If the organization shuts down, assets must stay dedicated to an exempt purpose, not paid out to insiders. That permanently dedicated concept is a favorite exam phrase. Now, Form 1023 timing. Most 501(c)(3) organizations file Form 1023 to request recognition. But there's a small receipts exception. If annual gross receipts are no more than $5,000, the organization isn't required to file, unless and until it exceeds that threshold. Once it exceeds, it must file within 90 days after the end of the tax year it went over. That 90-day rule is easy points. Here's the classic example. Texas Cat Rescue forms in March and ends the year with $14,500 in donations. Since it exceeded $5,000 in its first tax year, it must apply for formal exemption within 90 days after the end of that year. Also note the mechanics. Form 1023 is filed electronically through pay.gov, and there's a user fee. The exam may test the electronic filing detail. What if the organization is operating while the application is pending? It can generally operate as if it's tax-exempt, and donations made during the pending period are treated as deductible, assuming the IRS later approves the exemption. That assuming approval part matters. If the IRS denies or revokes retroactively, donors can lose deductions, and the organization can owe tax on revenue. Churches and similar religious organizations get a special exception. They are not required to apply for formal exemption, regardless of size. Many still apply because banks, grantors, and donors like a determination letter, but it's optional. Also, churches are treated as public charities by default. One more exam trap. Even if a church doesn't file Form 1023 or Form 990, it still must handle employment taxes like any employer. Which of the following organizations could not receive approval for tax-exempt status under IRC 501(c)(3)? Choices include a local chapter of the Salvation Army, a partnership for educational research, a college alumni association, and a local boys and girls club. Think about what legal forms are acceptable for a 501(c)(3). Think about it. The correct answer is the Partnership for Educational Research. A 501(c)(3) has to be organized as a corporation, a trust, or an unincorporated association, not a partnership or sole proprietorship. The partnership option is tempting because the purpose sounds educational, but entity form is a threshold requirement before the IRS even evaluates the mission. Every exempt organization must have a what? The options are a charitable purpose, an employer identification number, an annual information return, or an affirmation letter from the IRS. Focus on what the IRS uses to identify the organization for filings and correspondence. Think about it. The correct answer is an employer identification number, an EIN. Exempt organizations generally need an EIN even with no employees because it's used for federal tax administration, banking, and IRS communication. The tempting wrong answer is an annual information return because many exempt orgs file Form 990, but not all do, like churches.